So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be reviewing kind of you guys' work from last week as far as the assignment that you guys had to come up with your ideal avatar. And again, when I was sharing with you guys about coming up with your ideal avatar, you want to think through it through the lens of like who are the ideal people that you're seeking to reach, that you're seeking to target, because it's going to be more work in the beginning, but you're going to get paid from it on the end. It's harder in the beginning, and most of the time people ignore these steps, and so they end up going. And again, I have a management company as well, so I have an ads management company as well. So I get it, so I can get it from both sides. But then it's like you don't want to have to pay somebody $2,500 retainer, $2,000 retainer to run ads for you when you can learn how to do them yourself because of the fact that you know who your audience is. The reason why you need to pay somebody to run ads for you is because you don't know who you're trying to reach. So you're paying somebody to find out, okay, reach who you can reach, target who you can target. As long as you keep getting results, I'll keep paying you this retainer. But I want you guys to actually know how to do all of this stuff on your own. And again, that means that it is going to be more work on the front side, but that work on the front side will pay you dividends on dividends on dividends on the back side because of the fact that you built it from the ground up. You didn't go to somebody else and ask them to build it for you, which is why you pay the premium. So when somebody asks to work with me as far as from my marketing agency, then I'm saying, hey, to get everything started up, it's $5,000 without even looking at your business, without talking to you, without asking you any questions. It's $5,000. Once I receive that, then I can start talking to that person about their business and what's going on. And that's like to get everything set up and established. Like, you don't want to pay those types of costs up front. You don't, especially if you're starting a business and you want to see if it's gonna work, if it's gonna stick. Now, if you come from money and you just kind of want to throw money around, then you can throw money around. You can throw your weight around and you can kind of have that go and you can kind of have that happen. But if you don't have the reason why I'm doing this is because I want people to win that don't have the capital. I want people to win. I want people to know how to do it who don't have the capital to do it on the front side. The other businesses who have like venture capitalists kind of giving them money. And a lot of times these same people who have these venture capitalists giving them money, they'll lose their seed money and then they'll go and get somebody else to re-up. And it's like, hold on. So you lost the money, that's the millions of dollars that somebody gave you and somebody else was willing to give you more money? Like, how does that work? And we see it all the time as far as people who have money that's given to them, they squander the money because of the fact that it took no work ethic in order to actually get to where they were. It was given to them. And so they don't have the work ethic in order to maintain it, which is why what we're doing now is establishing the work ethic. We're establishing the work ethic so that in the end, we can build it up and make it your, not only will it be your company, but it's a company that you can be proud of and that you can pull people in at will. When you're ready to pull more people in, okay, I'm gonna start running ads again. All right, oh, we got too many people. We got too many people. Oh, we need to cut these ass off. It's too many people coming in. I can't service all these people. Okay, cool, got it. Boom. Now we can turn the ads back on. Okay, now now I have a team that I built out. Now we have SOPs that we've now built out. You have all these things that you can think through once you know who it is that you're targeting, because you can target them with specific intentionality. You can be as specific as you need to be in order to target that person. And I promise you guys, it's going to sound counterintuitive. It's going to sound contrary. I promise you it is not. Be as specific as you can be, because you will be talking to one person. And because you are so closely talking to that one person, other people are going to take note and be like, oh man, like they really are talking to that one person, and you talking to that one person clearly, other people will feel you. And they all want to take part because you're talking to who you're talking to so directly. Be clear about who you're talking to. You have to be clear. So without further ado, let's hop into the homework. Do y'all have homework? We got some head nods. We got some homework. All right. So does anybody want to take themselves off of mute and kind of share what you've come up with or any questions that you have about the first assignment as far as coming up with your ideal avatar? Remember, again, the first thing that I wanted for you guys is on the one side, either to have just one, as far as I want you guys to have two, but if you kind of wanted to choose one gender, you could have done that. So you could have chose like two men that you want to target and come up with the demographics, the specifics for them, or you could have chose two women. You could have chose a man and a woman. When I initially designed mine from the ground, like I chose a man and I chose a woman. I was very particular about both as far as designing them. And if you want to take it another notch, I didn't say this last time, but if you want to take it another notch, Google search an image. And literally, you can Google search an image, or you could even use something like Midjourney, use some AI to create that avatar. Because like the reality of you seeing a picture makes it so much more real and makes you stick to what you're doing when you can see a picture of a person that you're doing what you're doing for. Is what I'm saying making sense? If you can see a picture, if you can see a visual representation of why you're doing what you're doing, you're going to stick to it. If you don't have an understanding of who you're doing it for, you're going to do it sometimes. You're going to not do it sometimes. You're going to care some days. You're going to not care some days. You're going to give it your all some days. You're going to not give it your all some days. When you are clear about what you're doing and who you're doing it for, you're going to go at it with your all. Like you're going to run it. You're going to run and you're going to give your best. You're going to give your all because of the fact that you realize and you understand what it is that you're doing and why it is that you're doing and who it is that you're doing it for. With that being said, homework. Any questions? Any of you guys want to be like the first to share what's going on? Talk to me.
Yeah, I can jump out there.
Boom.
I didn't get to put too much into the podcast just yet, but I do have the photography avatar listed out.
Okay, yeah.
But what I wish I would have done, I wish I would have taken some more time to go back and put it into those neat little categories you settled out last week. But I probably could still kind of read through it and get it figured out, at least by that. I thought I had it pulled up, but I don't. Give me 2 seconds.
And then just to refresh, so what we were doing last week is we were coming up with the ideal avatars. The ideal avatars are going to be the people that you are going to have in mind whenever you're creating content, whenever you get to the point to where you actually can create ads, whenever you get to the point of kind of putting all this material out there, every single thing that you create is going and directed to this person. Again, this is a made up person. You're making this person up. You're designing this person. You're constructing this person based off of who would want your services, who would want your product, who would want, if you will, to work with you, who would want to hire you for your services. You're thinking through that and you're coming up with that ideal person. That ideal person, and it's through that ideal person that you're going to create all of your content and all your ads. Like I said, it's going to be harder on the front side, but it's going to pay you so much on the back side because of the fact that you are going to be so specific in who you're talking to. So what we got?
Yeah, so all right, so for the photography ideal client, it looks like you have ages here. So I got a spreadsheet of 9 different repeat clients that I've had in the past.
Yep.
So I'll probably put an average on them age-wise. I'll say between 28 and 35.
Boom. That is great. That is great. Yep. That's a great range. So, because you always want consistency in your range. So this is for everybody. So you always want consistency in your range. So if you were to say like a range as far as like, I'll say something like 18 to 43. It's like completely different people. Completely different people. So that's a very good range. It's a very tight range. I like to try to keep mine within like 5 years because again, like the thing about it is that it's gonna seem very particular to be targeting a specific age group, but I guarantee you're gonna naturally get other age groups as well, but you're talking to a particular age group because that's who, like, again, when it comes, one of the things that I want to set and I want to establish as a precedent for us is we're going to always be completely and fully honest on these calls. We are in business to make money. So if you have a younger demographic, it's going to be hard for them to pay you for your services. It's perfectly fine if they come to you for your services, but that's not your target demographic. So if you would have set a range that started at like 18, I'd be like, oh, yep, cut them out. Not in a bad way. Again, because we're doing what we're doing to make money. We're talking about creating real businesses that make real money. And the reason why I want y'all to get to the real bag is because I want Christians to have a bag so that we can go and do the stuff that we're supposed to be doing. That's why I want us to get money. I want Christians to be getting money so that we can go and do the stuff that we're supposed to be doing and live how we're supposed to be living. But what ends up happening is when it comes to business, we want to be like, we want to dance, we want to tiptoe, and we don't want to like say, I'm in business for money. You're in business for money. It's a business. Because if you don't make money, you don't have a business. And if you don't have a business, it was just an idea or a hope or a wish. We got to make money. And so we need to come up with the best system, the best procedures possible in order to make money from our business. So I like what you said. I like that nine range, but let's see if we can tighten that down just a little bit as far as like, so when you have the repeat customers, as far as that 9-year block, like who has paid you the most money? Who, and again, we're talking about ideal clients. Who has paid you the most money and bothers you the least? Who is a smooth client for you where they pay you ahead of time? They don't ask any questions. They know what they're going to receive from you. They don't hassle you. They don't ask for favor. Like, again, this is for money. Again, there are going to be ways in which when we had these conversations, we're talking about things that we do for the body of Christ. Say, for example, you're in photography. There may be times because of the fact that the Lord blesses your bag to be such a bag to where now you can kind of do some discounted work for Christians and things like that. So now we can help those types of individuals as far as that need help in those ways because of the fact that we actually have the bag now, or we have a bag because we created a business that is a sustainable business that has a flurry of leads coming in. Because we took the time to create that, we're able to be a blessing to others. But if we don't take the time to create that, we can't be a blessing to nobody. So now everybody's stuck in the same position. So can't nobody help the next person next to them because of the fact that we all in the same position. It's when we see outside of the situation that we're in that we're able to see a different situation and a better situation and help ourselves to get towards that place so that we can then help other individuals as well. So again, so with that, you want to kind of tighten that down just a little bit as far as kind of getting that range to be a little bit smaller because of the fact that, again, one of the things that I like about your range is that it is post-grad age. So as far as kind of like that 28, that starting at 28, those are going to be people who are postgraduate. So they could have either 1 degree or 2 degrees by that time. They are already working. So they already have like themselves like established in what it is that they're doing. So maybe they maybe like kind of first time homeowners as far as kind of looking into getting into that, maybe looking into getting married, all those types of things. So this is a demographic that has money. So that was one of the main things that I wanted you guys to understand about the demographic. And one of the things I was going to be pointing out for you guys today is that if you choose or select a demographic that does not have money, it becomes problematic for you. Overall standpoint speaking, because again, these new youngsters, they on something different. Like I know so many like high school millionaires, it don't even make no sense. And I'm like, man, like how, and I mean, whether it be TikTok, whether it be YouTube, with like, I mean, I know so many teenage millionaires, especially kind of being in the Atlanta area, and I'm just like, man, these young dudes just keep popping up, like, but I say that to say because they're an anomaly. They're an anomaly. So most people in the teenage range, the college age range, so college age being underneath 22, so that 22, 23, underneath that, those demographics typically, remember, we have to paint with broad brush strokes in order to market effectively, in order to brand ourselves effectively. Because you can include these individuals if you want to, but you're going to end up finding more of these individuals in that category. Again, no shame to anybody in that category, but it's just like that category doesn't have money yet. Typically, again, there are anomalies and there are oftentimes a lot of anomalies, but as far as from an overall standpoint, and I can actually post this inside the group as well, but there was an article that I read as far as people are staying home now until about 25, 26. So now, when I'm saying that age group, as far as like that 22, 23 doesn't have money yet, like I'm saying that from a standpoint of studies, facts, like data that says like, hey, at that age, people are still at home, whereas before people were leaving at like 18. Like now it's about like 23 because of what's happening in the economy. And so we understand it. It's not something that's foreign to us, but you have to understand what it is that you're looking at, what it is that you're dealing with, so that when you create your business, you're actually targeting the right people. That's why I'm making this whole entire point. You want to target the right people. You want to target people that have money and they have money to spend, not money to save, because again, that category oftentimes is trying to start saving money because they recently graduated from college or whatever the case may be. So they're trying to save money, establish themselves, which is why they're still home with their parents. So they're trying to establish themselves financially. Perfectly good, perfectly fine. But you don't want that to be your target demographic, because if you're only targeting those types of individuals, then you're going to find yourself like with a lot of price hagglers. Like, oh, can you give me a discount? Oh, can you give me this? Oh, and guess what? We're going to get to that point. Well, we can give people discounts and we can get them off, but we have to build a business first that is sustainable. We can't give discounts until we have a business. I see this happen so much. I'm belaboring this point because of the fact that I see that happen so much. People give discounts before they get established as a business. And when you do that, you will not have a business. You will not have a business. If you kind of do the discount thing before your business is established, you're doing what is called devaluing your product. You're devaluing your service. You're devaluing your time. One of the things I'm going to tell y'all for free is that if you don't value your time, nobody else will. You dictate how much your time is worth. You literally dictate how much your time is worth. And so it's super important that you understand not only how much your time is currently worth, but also that you understand what you want your time to be worth. So now, if I use myself as an example, it's worth it for me to have somebody else do things for me like that. I wouldn't call it a waste of time. So people who are say things for shock value will call them a waste of time. But hey, it's worth my time for me to have that time back and to pay somebody to do this thing for me. And that's stimulating the economy, because now people have jobs that didn't have jobs, as far as consistent jobs and regular jobs. So there's so many benefits to thinking the way that I'm seeking to teach you guys to think. Again, this is contrary thinking. This is not what you're going to get on Sundays. This is not what you're going to get at the church. And it breaks my heart that we don't. But I'm not one of those people that sit around with a broken heart and don't do nothing. I'm a person that when my heart gets broken for certain things, I'm like, okay, boom, I got to do something about it. Like, I see this thing now, or I know that this thing is going on, I know this thing is happening, I got to do something about it. And then if I try to do something about it and I'm not allowed for whatever reason, like, or my hands get tired or like cuffed for whatever reason to stop me from doing it, I'll try and get creative and think of a different way to do it. But I'm saying all of this to say we have to be intentional. We have to be strategic about what it is that we're doing and why it is that we're doing it, so that we can have success in what it is that we're doing. So first off, how could do things get people in? Oh, yeah. Shantavius, that's definitely not what you want to. You don't want to do free things to get people in. So for me, I started this group for free because I wanted to do a free group, because I wanted you guys to get all of this stuff that I know, because I have people. So I have people that'll send me like messages and they'll ask me to promote their company, or they'll ask me to shout them out. And I'm like, I can't with good conscience. Why can't I with good conscience? Because you don't have a business. It's not a business. And now I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, Matt, this person may be like a single mother. They're hurting, they're struggling. How can you help them? Okay, boom, got it. What I could do is I could help her understand how to create a business that is conducive for her life and where she is and how she is, so that now she has the funds and the resources to establish herself in business. And so now she's not in that same predicament that she was. And so I get messages all the time like this, where people are like asking for things. And I used to be the person to just give things to people, but now I'm a person who says, I'll give people information. I won't give things, I will give information, because a person will do something with the information if they want to do something with the information. But if a person doesn't want to do something with the information, they're not going to do anything with the information. So now, instead, that saves me like a lot of stress, a lot of heartache, a lot of pain, or whatever the case may be, because I'm giving information away. And seeing if like people do anything with it. And if somebody is doing something with it, then I'll continue to get information away. And that'll be what it is that it's information freely given. Now, different from scripture, like freely you receive, freely you give. This information wasn't free for me, but I want it to be free for y'all. So it costs me a lot of money to get this information, but I don't want y'all to pay what I paid to get the information. I want y'all to get it from me for free so y'all could establish businesses, so y'all could do y'all thing, make a lot of money, make an impact for the kingdom, but doing it in an ethical way, which is why I call this ethical online money. I don't want y'all to get involved in scams. Most of the time when you hear like the faceless, you hear you're not attached to it, it's probably because it's something that's wrong with what it is that you're attaching yourself to that you probably shouldn't attach yourself to. So again, I want to teach you guys how to do this from an ethical way where all of your morals are intact, all of your principles are intact. If you're a Christian, your Christianity is fully intact, and you're not compromising in any way. You're actually like doing a great service. And so would you recommend a few free webinars, then charge for the rest? Okay, so one of the ways that you could think about that, recommend a few free webinars, then charging for the rest. So free webinars, then charging for the rest. That is a way. But one of the things that I've learned in doing this for the few years that I've been doing it. So now, mind you, there have been people who have been doing this for way longer than me. So one of the things I would say is if you have something that you're doing for free, but it's a part of your business, always give people the ability to buy. People should always have the ability to buy from you at any juncture that you're doing something for free. So if you're doing a free webinar, you should be able to have you should have a link on there. You should tell people at some point that they can buy because this is a business. And if you like the information I'm giving, support my business by clicking this link right here. This link right here will take you to my website where I sell my fresh pressed juices, and you can start by supporting me by buying some of my fresh pressed juices. I press them all myself. I take my time to do this all myself. I am in employment for myself. I have 2 kids. I tell your story. Tell your whole story, and tell people to buy. People don't listen, so you got to repeat it. Tell them to buy. People don't listen, so you got to repeat it. Tell them to buy. It's gonna sound to you like you being crazy or like you being facetious, like by repeating the same thing over there. But you gotta tell them to buy, or they're not gonna buy. Tell people to buy because this is your business. And again, we can get to all the free stuff once you have an established business, but you don't want to build your business off of the back of free, because if you attract free, you're attracting free. Now, what you can do is you can get some free traffic. So now you can get traffic from free, let people know, buy. That's what I'm doing. I'm selling something to you. Or, hey, I'm presenting an opportunity for you to be able to buy something from me, and let people know your story. Again, that's the whole purpose of a webinar. This is a sidebar, but this is really good information right here. So the purpose of a webinar is for people to know, like, and trust you better during the course of that webinar, which is why people hold webinars. When they hold webinars, they hold a webinar for about an hour or even longer. And they'll keep telling you on the webinar that they're getting off of the webinar, that the webinar is ending, but they continue to allow it to go on. Why? Because the longer they can get FaceTime with you, the more you trust them. That's the whole purpose of it. The more people the more you can get FaceTime with people, the more they will trust you. If you can't get FaceTime with people, or if they can't get FaceTime with you, then they won't likely trust you. And if they don't trust you, they won't buy from you. And if they don't buy from you, you don't have a business. If you don't have a business, then what are we doing? This is about having an online business that is ethical and that makes you money, and it's growing and making you money. Whatever it is that you do. You can teach lessons. You can tutor kids. You can teach singing lessons. You can teach music lessons. Whatever it is, whatever your online business is, you can do that. You just have to start with building your audience, and that begins with looking at your ideal avatar. Make sure I read through all these comments. Would recommend a few webinars and charts for rest, seducing spirits, man. So many compromise for that. Yes, so it's definitely a lot going on. Right, I was trying to offer at the end. So yes, so you want to always have an offer. Even if you're getting people in for free, you want to always offer something to them. So say, for example, I use that juicing example. So if somebody sells juices, people need to know that you sell juices. If people can go, like, so say for example, if we're using the platform Instagram, take this and put it across all platforms. So whether that be YouTube, whether that be TikTok, whatever the case may be, you have a top row. And for YouTube, you have a strip of videos, and you have a strip that makes it into that last produced content or videos or whatever. If people look through your videos and they don't know what you do or what you sell to them or what you could potentially sell to them or what your product is or what your service is or what your business is, they can't buy and they won't buy. And then you'll be looking like, how come they not buying? Like, they not buying from me. How come they not buying? Like, do they not like me? It's like, no, they just don't know to buy. They don't know how to buy. You never told them how to buy. You're not telling them enough to buy. Put a call to action inside your video. As far as tell them what to do inside your video. Tell them what to do inside the caption. Tell them what to do in the comments. Tell them what to do. I promise you, it's gonna seem crazy when you first start doing it. To tell people to buy so many times. But people need those reminders. Our attention span is getting shorter and shorter. The latest update as far as it pertains to producing content is that people need like it's getting down to like less than 2 seconds as far as like, so say for example, if I'm shooting an ad and I'm shooting from this angle, I need to switch this angle with in under 2 seconds. It used to be 2.5 seconds. I used to be able to do this angle and then would have to switch to another angle or maybe switch to another shot or switch to some graphic imagery or switch to some sort of AI video that was created or whatever, some sort of digital content that was created or whatever the case may be. No, no longer. It's now less than 2 seconds you get. So if you're not changing every less than 2 seconds, you're losing people. So when I say you got to keep telling people to buy, you got to keep telling people to buy. Like, everyone's attention span is getting shorter and shorter, which is why TikTok is the most heavily used platform right now, because of the fact that it was created entirely off of short form content. You have companies blowing up overnight because of short form content, which is why Instagram decided to copy, which is why YouTube decided to copy. It's because of the fact that our attention spans are getting shorter. So when you're thinking through your creation of how you're going to put yourself out there, how you're going to brand yourself, the very first piece before all these other things that I talked about, hosting your webinars, all this other stuff that kind of came up because of you guys' comments, you got to know who you're talking to. Because when you get on your webinar, you can't see people. So when you're hosting your webinar, you can't see nobody. You got to be talking to somebody, though. That's where your avatar comes into play. So every question that you're answering it to that ideal avatar that you created for this lesson, for that last lesson. You're talking straight and directly to them. Every single time you host a webinar, every single time you post a piece of content, every single time you think about creating some content or creating an ad or whatever the case may be, you're talking directly to them. Talk to them. Because what's going to happen is the algorithm is now going to begin to work in your favor, and you're naturally going to have some of those people begin to follow you because you're talking to them. And so you're going to see your demographics get more and more specified. So whenever you look at your profiles, you can see demographic. You can see the number of men that follow you, the number of women that follow you, what age group that follow you. You can see the locations that follow you. You can see what times they interact with your posts, all those things. We're not into that yet, as far as that's coming up as well, as far as when to post your content, all those types of things. But what we're talking about right now is you got to get people to know who you are. You got to get people into your ecosystem, and you got to be strategic about that by speaking directly to them so that you get them, because you're naturally going to get other people as well. But you got to speak directly to them so that you can actually get those individuals in. And so as it pertains to homework, let's hop back to that. And actually, this is what I'll do. So what we'll do, because of the fact that we are running out of time, what I want to do, because I want us to get into our next one as well. I want you guys to post, if you will, your homework over inside of the school platform so that we can look at it, review it there. So even people who aren't able to make the call live are able to see kind of some of the things that we're talking about, have some interactions there as well, because I do want you guys to get this next lesson, because each one of these things will continue to build off of one another. Okay. So we're building everything. And I want us to make sure that we have time to continue to build in each one of our weekly meetings, because of the fact that, again, like when we're doing things like this, like it's going to go at the pace that you guys are ready for and that you guys want. And so as you guys want more, we can interact more on the school platform. I'll definitely be sure to turn all of my notifications on for that, so that as you guys are ready over there, we can interact more over there. And then for these, I want to make sure that each one of these weekly meetings that we have together, we're progressing forward and that we're moving forward with some more to do things for you guys to do, so that you guys can do those things and keep getting closer and closer towards the goal, because of the fact that, again, the better we have and the more solid of a foundation we have, then the easier it is going to be for the building to stand, and to stand for a long time, and continue to stand in perpetuity. It was a company that I was talking with this past week that was started in 1912. Started in 1912, still around to this day, going strong. And again, it's because they knew who their target demographic was. So now they're trying to navigate this new space. They're trying to navigate the online space, because that's not their thing. They're just used to getting foot traffic, and because they started in 1912. So again, let's get to it. So what we have, so last week, what we were going through and what we're talking about is creating your ideal avatar. So now, we gotta, once you have that constructed, and if you don't have it constructed yet, you will get that constructed, and then we'll post those over inside. I'll create a new discussion for us to have you guys post those there, and then I'll create another one for what we're going to be going over today. Because today what we're going to be covering is, who are these people, like to their core, like who are these people? What do they do, as far as like what do they do? What do they like? What do they enjoy? What platforms do they spend the most of their time on? What forums do they go to? All those things, we're going to be going over that piece, because that is going to be the next best piece. Because now, well, not next best piece, but the next piece, and that's going to be the next piece, because of the fact that what you're going to do after you know who these individuals are is you want to start going to them. Because in essence, what you're going to be doing is, think about this. I don't know if any of you guys fish. If you guys fish, I'll probably give me some emojis, give me some, let me know, like if you guys fish or anything like that, or know anything about fishing. But what you're doing is you're going to go to a place that has a lot of your fish. You're going to go to a place that has a lot of your fish. So as it pertains to your fish and the people that you are looking towards, the people that you want, the people that you are looking to get to kind of come to where you are, you got to go fish for them. Okay? You got to go fish for them. The thing is, it may sound difficult and it may sound hard, but again, we're doing foundational work, because the thing about when you fish for these individuals is that these individuals will be tied and attached to you. Think about it. So if you do live fishing, I don't know if you guys have ever done live fishing, but when you do live fishing, you catch the fish still alive, you put the fish in the well, and the fish is still alive. So the fish is still swimming around after you caught the fish. So you didn't kill the fish is still alive. Because in essence, what you're going to do is you're going to take these fish that you caught, and you're going to throw them in your pond. You're going to throw them in your lake. And guess what you're going to go do? You're going to go catch some more fish. Live fishing, put them in your well, and you're going to take those fish and go put them back in your pond and your lake. And guess what's going to happen? Your pond and your lake is going to continue to get larger and larger. And what do fish do in the same way other animals and species do? They populate and repopulate. And so now your group, your environment, and your ecosystem is naturally going to become more robust, not because of all of your fishing, but because of the fact that, if we can stretch this example out, these individuals, some of them will turn into fishermen and fisherwomen for you and go out and do fishing. So now you're not having to go out and do all the fishing. Some of your fish done turn into fishermen and fisherwomen, and are now going out and fishing and bringing live fish and bringing back fish, as far as putting them in their well and then driving their boat back and then dropping them off in the lake. Hopefully this is starting to make sense to you guys. But what I wanted to teach us about today is where you want to focus your energies. And these are things that you want to kind of add to your notes. Because again, I wanted you guys to have a notebook for every single thing that we're going to be discussing and talking about. So this is what I want you to add to your notebook today, is that you're going to go fishing. Okay, and as you're going fishing, I want you to have some specific things in mind for your fishing. Okay, so for your fishing, I want you to know, like, for the people that you have for your business, what websites do they like? Do they enjoy? What websites do they go to? Because again, remember, like, I think that if I took some tests, I think that I could. I think that I would be able to test higher on like some strange things, for, like, and it's for different reasons. But it's because of the fact that I think of everything through the lens of like psychology versus thinking through it through the lens of what it is. So when you're thinking of it, you're literally you want to hop into the mind of the avatar that you created. So the avatar that you created, you want to hop into their mind. What websites do they like? So when they're going and looking for their photograph, their photography, like, who are your competitors? Who are the people that they will go to if they didn't go to you? You need to know these things. If you are in the demographic of teaching people things, who would they go and find this information out from if it wasn't from you? Who else would they be going to? Who else have they gone to? And then once we get down the road, who have they gone to that have probably let them down? Ooh, now we're getting deep. Why? Because of the fact that you can now capitalize on what somebody else fumbled. So now somebody else fumbled the bag. You can grab it and pick it up and say, oh, this is what I specialize in. So now you can, again, talk more directly to that avatar because of the fact that you realize ways in which they've been let down and disappointed before. And so now that you're aware of how they've been disappointed before, you can be mindful and be sure to not let them down in those same ways. And now in your advertising and in your targeting, you're specifically using language to say that you are not like them. And they not like us. You ain't like them and they ain't like you. You have to. So again, one of the things that you want to get into particulars about when you start advertising, when you start marketing, is that you want to be particular about making sure that you know that you want to define how you are different. You can get into ethics as far as you can kind of lose your ethics when you start saying that you're better than someone else. I'm not teaching you guys to say that you're better than anybody. We're not doing that. I'm not going to teach that. Now, there are other people that teach you. They'll teach you to say that you're better than this other person, to talk down about somebody. I ain't doing that. I ain't getting into that. That ain't me. You say how you're different from other companies that do such and such services or that offer such and such products. This is what makes us different. People choose us for these differences. People enjoy us because of these differences. But you're not talking down about anybody, but you're highlighting how you're different. So you want to know the websites that these individuals go to, the other companies that these individuals do business with. If there are certain forums, if you will, or if there are like different boards that people can post on as it pertains to your demographic or what it is that you do, like, go there and start fishing. Start just posting your comments. Again, so my moniker on IG is I always add value. That's how I choose to live life, is to always add value in the things that I do and the people that I come in contact with. I don't want any, like, I'm not a negative person. I don't want any negativity. Like, I don't do mess. I don't do foolishness. So I'm going to add value. So now, as it pertains to how you're putting yourself out there, how you're branding yourself, you need to be a person who is adding value, because now when you go to the, like, as far as if they have like different websites that you can post on, different message boards, different forums, different Facebook groups that you can join, and all you do is you go and you add value for free. Just go to a Facebook group and you add value for free. Guess what's going to happen? When you add value for free, people are going to start reaching out to you. And they're going to say, oh, I didn't know you knew how to do that, or friend requests, different things like that. Or whatever the message, whatever the forum is, or whatever the medium is that you're using, people will start messaging you or interacting with you or commenting with you or talking to you on that medium. And so now, because you just simply added value, and guess what? You ain't got to keep recreating the wheel to add value in these different locations. You can post the same type of thing. So say, for example, if you have some tips and some advice for somebody about something in a particular category, you can take the same advice and share it on different places, different locations, different message boards, different forums, different places. Just keep sharing it. Share different places. Now add more value. So now I have something else I want to add. I'm going to add it over here. I'm going to add value over here. I'm going to add value over here. Boom. Oh, man, I got 10 people reached out for me from here, and I only got one person reached out for me from here. Okay, got it. I'm going to spend more time over here. Why? Because we're building a business first. Unless you got bread, you don't want to start off with ads. You need to build your business first because, again, ad spend can become expensive. You want to know that you're going to get a return on ad spend. When we're talking ad spend, we shouldn't be talking dollar for dollar. Put a dollar in, get a dollar out. That is not effective or efficient ad spend. When we're talking ad spend, we should be talking about return on investment. We should be talking ROI. So you're going to be going to these websites. You're going to be going to these forums. You're going to be going to these Facebook groups. You're going to be going to these different message boards. You're going to be going, watch this, other people who might be influencers in your particular arena. Maybe you're in e-com. And so now you have some influencers that you can reach out to. There's a key for influencers and how to reach out to them. So for influencers and how to reach out to them, what you want to do is you want to reach out to an influencer that is similar to where it is that you are. Now watch this. This is beautiful. And a lot of people miss this. A lot of people miss this. You want to reach out to people that are similar to where you are. So if you have, if you will, 1,000 followers on a platform, reach out to people that are in that 1,000 to 2,000 range. Boom. Now you got 2,000 followers. Now you want to reach out to people who have 2,000 followers to that 4,000 follower range. Boom. Now you got 4,000 followers. Now you want to reach out to people who have 4,000 followers to 6,000 followers. Boom. Now you got 5,000 followers. Now you reach out to people who have 7,000 followers as far as 5,000 to that 7,000. And you want to keep increasing as far as, if you will, the type of influencer that you reach out to. Because again, it does not take a big influencer to blow up your brand and to make your brand larger or to make your business larger. Because you'll find a lot of times that people that have a smaller following have a stronger following. So if they have 1,000 people that follow them, guess what? They got 1,000 people that follow them. And when they say buy this product, when they say test this company out, when they say get us a real good solid look, you're going to have 40% of the people that follow them do it. It's all about who you're targeted. And again, that's why you have to know these things, because when you go to an influencer, you have to understand your metrics. You don't want to be flustered and you let somebody tell you anything or get away with murder or whatever the case may be because of the fact that you don't understand your business. You don't understand how it works. You don't understand the behind the scenes. You don't understand all these different things. You want to understand all these different things so that you can use these things to your advantage. Hopefully what I'm saying is making sense. You had a question, Anthony?
So when you're saying go out to the ponds to pull the minnows and the guppies into your own pond, what does that even look like? Like let's say I find 5 Facebook groups around emotional health. Am I going in there and am I just flat out posting what I've learned and what I want to share that I know has helped me, or am I I don't know why I'm thinking like this, but am I like warming the group up first? Am I commenting on other people's stuff first? Or is it just I guess what I'm really like, how does that it's actually funny, but how to not be, I guess, like, I don't know, just be a value, like actually be a value add to the, what does that even look like?
It's a both and. It's a both and. You're going to be doing both. So one of the things that you're going to be doing is you are going to be adding value as far as kind of like with those posts. But you're also going to be adding value by commenting on other people's things. Why? So that they actually pay attention to you. So they actually like interact back with you. So you want people to interact back with you. You want people to interact with you. And the only way that they can do that is if you interact with them or if you put something out there for them to be able to interact with. So now you're going to other message boards and you're going so you're going to do both but you're going to do it through the context. Because remember, every single thing that we do, it's always ethical. It's always ethical. You're going to follow the group rules. So sometimes you can join a group and a group will say, it'll give like particular types of rules. Of course, you're not going to spam, and because we don't do stuff like that because that's unethical. You're not going to like bash anybody that started the group because they gave you the pond to come to. They gave you the lake to come to. How you gonna come and disrespect somebody in their house? This is their house. And so it's like you want to always do everything with ethics. Now, mind you, I've seen people succeed unethically. And if you aren't strong to your core about why you're doing what you're doing, the temptation to do things unethically will be there. Don't heed to that. Listen to the Christian ethic or the ethic that you have inside that says, no, I'm going to do things the right way. They told me when I joined this group to not do, so I'm going to make sure I don't do the things that they told me not to do when I joined this group. I'm not going to go and just do my own thing and expect for everything to just go well for me. Because in the same way that you're being disrespectful to this person, what's going to happen is somebody's going to turn around and be disrespectful to you as well. That's why even for me, whenever I was an employee of somebody's, I always made sure to give my best. I always made sure to give my best because I always had an entrepreneurial mind, even when I was an employee, even when I was working in warehouses. I always had an entrepreneurial mind. I'm like, man, I'm going hard here because I'm not going to always be here. And when I'm not here and I have people working for me, I want to make sure that they work just as hard for me as I have been for people for all these years. You want to do things the right way. And just remember that there is a most high God who knows all and sees all. So when groups have rules, respect that group's rules. Abide according to their rules. That's their home. They created that. Now, as it pertains to being inside of their rules and doing what it is that they're saying, now what it is that you have is you have opportunities with inside of their rules. Like, go through that group, scroll through the group, and see the most interacted posts. Like, what do people interact with the most? Create something like that adds even more value to what that person shared. Comment on that post. Why? Because that's the most interacted post, like, or the posts that are most the posts that are most interacted with. Or maybe they have pinned posts. If they have pinned posted at the top, guess what people see as soon as they join inside this Facebook group or as soon as they join inside the group? They see those pinned posts first. Interact on those pinned posts. Why? Because those will get you noticed first and most quickly, because of the fact that, again, you'll be able to add value at a quicker rate because of the fact that you're going about it in an expedient way versus the slow cook way where it's like, oh, I'm just going to start from scratch. I'm just going to do a random post inside of a random group that I join and hope that my post gets some traction because it's good quality content. It can be good quality content that adds tremendous value and nobody ever see it. Because you don't even know if the group that you join is dead. So you got to check that out. You got to see if the group is dead. And what I mean by dead is that maybe the group has been around for like 5 or 6 years. And the last post before the one that you wanted to post was like 2 years ago. And so now why does that matter? Is the group still alive? Yes, the group is still alive. Rigor mortis, but it's still alive. So you have is like this sort of, oh, but it has this many thousands of people in it. Guess what? All those people probably were sold on some product already. So now what that means for notifications is that these people aren't going to get your notifications when you post inside this group. They're not going to get your notifications. And it has nothing to do with the quality of your posts.
Yeah. I just recently got diagnosed with ADHD. So I was looking for just different groups to, specifically Christian ADHD groups out there just to, talk, learn, see what other people have done or are doing. And when I was looking for the different groups, it was actually showing how frequently posts are actually taking place in the group. And when the last post, like words, it would say like 10 posts in the last day or whatever.
There you go.
It hadn't had one post in a year. So I guess that'll work the same way with other groups that I want to add value to.
There you go. And watch this. So one of the things that you'll find with that is, depending on the type of group, some of those groups, so it's always going to vary. Some of the groups that have over 10 posts per day could be dead groups that are still alive, but they dead because of the fact that everybody's been spamming it. They don't have anybody monitoring anything. So people have been spammed. So you're not going to get notifications there either because people don't care about that group. They don't care about notifications for that group, so they don't check them. And the way the algorithm works is if people don't check things, they stop notifying you about it. And if a whole bunch of people are part of this group and nobody ever checks their notifications for that group, then Facebook's gonna be like, and Meta's gonna be like, hey, you know what? Like, let's stop notifying people about this group. Let's notify people about stuff that they actually are checking and they actually care about. Because it works to Facebook's benefit, Meta's benefit, if they're putting stuff in your face that keeps you on their platform. But if they put stuff in your face that won't keep you on their platform because of the fact that people don't care about it, they're not going to put it in front of your face. So Yeah, so that's something to pay attention to, and then pay attention to the types of posts. If it has 10 plus posts, like those could be spammy posts or they could be good posts. Just check on those types of posts, see if anybody's interacting with those posts, see if those are like auto type posts that have like crazy typos in them, where it's like, oh, some AI bot, they got like a bot doing this, versus it being an actual person. Because that's another thing too that we can get into as far as kind of having AI bots and deploying AI bots to do a lot of this stuff for you. But that does get expensive because either you're going to create it yourself or you're going to hire like a company like mine to like create and build these bots for you. And so I mean, there's so many ways to do it. But yeah, so one of the things that I would say, always check the group. Make sure that the group is an active group. But if the group is seemingly an active group, you want to make sure that the types of posts that are being posted are actually being interacted with by not just likes or responses, but also through comments. That's what you want. You want people to you want there to be discourse there. You want people to interact. You want people to converse. You want people to have dialogue. That's what you're building, because that's how you're going to get them, if you will, inside your well so that you can take them back to your lake. If you can't get a conversation going, that means they're not on your line. And if they're not on your line, you're not pulling them in your boat. Can't get them in your boat, can't get them in the well. Can't get them in the well, you can't get them back to your lake. So, but great question though. And then also check out and understand kind of where you can go as it pertains to like other podcasts. So you can look into different podcasts for your arena. And again, the thing about podcasts is a lot of people sleep, but you can really get like a well-known podcast. You can get a spot on a well-known podcast because like podcasts aren't really like the thing like that. You have like some really big ones, then you have like smaller ones. You can get on a podcast that has great engagement and get a lot of people to come to you for a very small amount. So don't sleep on podcasts, especially podcasts that seem smaller. Again, we're not about size. We're about engagement. Because again, a lot of people have numbers, but they don't have engagement. And I can also share with you guys inside the school community too, of different apps that they have that are free apps that you can download so you can actually see engagement. So if you're thinking about reaching out to an influencer, or you're thinking about reaching out to somebody for like a podcast thing, they have apps that are absolutely free, where you can see engagement. You can see how many people are actually engaging with this podcast, engaging with this social media individual, engaging with this person's video, YouTube content, all those types of things. You can see all those things so you can make a decision beforehand whether or not this will be a good use of either your time or your money. Because to believe it or not, sometimes these people will interview you and have you on for free. Why? Because they want and need content. So they'll have you come on for free, your content for them, and they're able to post you. So that's kind of what you're signing off on. You're signing off on them being able to post you, but they're interviewing you or talking to you, having a conversation with you for free around whatever the category is, the topic is. So again, don't sleep on podcasts, especially podcasts that have great engagement. Like if they have like 20 people to give them 5 stars, that's great engagement. Why? Because that's 20 people that were willing to take that step of rating them 5 stars. Most people can't get people to, they'll tell people all day long, please be sure to rate the podcast. Please be sure to rate, please be sure to leave a comment and rate, please be sure. And people won't ever do it. But for some reason, for this podcast that you're thinking about working with, they had 20 people to be able to do it. And they had 5 people to actually leave full comments. That's a paragraph. What? That's engagement. Don't sleep. People think it always has to be big. It's not big. It's about how connected is it? How connected are they with their audience? And then again, you come on, you do a great job. Again, that's why I always approach every single thing that I do with giving my best. You come on there, you do a great job. Guess what they want to do? Hey, come on back. What you mean? They want you back on their podcast. And this time, because of something that may have transpired, they may even say, hey, I'd be willing, if you say, man, my schedule's kind of tight because last time I showed up, man, oh man, I'd be willing to give you 100, 200 just to show up on a podcast you did for free. Talk to me, y'all. You did the podcast for free. You are willing to do it for free. The next time they reach out to you because you prepared yourself and you showed up and you did the work. Now they're willing to pay you for something you did for free. Scripture says, don't despise humble beginnings. Don't despise them. Don't look down on them. Listen, do it for the free and do it like you're getting paid. The Lord will exalt you at the proper time. A lot of times, the reasons why we don't get the exaltation that we want in this life is because of the fact that we're not ready for it. I tell people often, I say, like, we don't know who we are until we actually have freedom. Until you free to do what you want to do, when you want to do it. Ain't got to answer to nobody. That's when you find out who you are. But as long as you got a boss, you got to report to a job, you got hours that you got to punch, you got responsibilities that you got to take care of, or you get fired. That's not necessarily who you are. Take away all those things. Would you still be the same person? And what we're after and what we're looking after and trying to get to is trying to get to that level of independence and freedom. And it's in our goal and en route to getting towards that independence and freedom that we're going to have to do hard things. But I'm telling you guys, if you do these hard things, it's going to become easier because, again, every time you show up or do something somewhere else, all you're doing is repurposing content. So you fully prepared to be on this podcast, but now guess what? You can go and make YouTube videos out of it. You can take those and make shorts out of it. You can make Instagram videos out of it. You can take those and make reels out of them. You can take that same content that you have for reels and for the Instagram and for the YouTube shorts. You can take and put that on TikTok. All you're doing is repurposing the same content. Put your captions on there. They have apps that even do that for you for free. You can pay and have a particular branding that you want to be on all your videos and put that there. If you want to pay for a subscription, it's your choice. But now, instead of you thinking about, oh, I got to go do this. No, you go do the one thing, the one time, and you repurpose the content from it. Then you go do it again at that same place or at a different place. And then you go do it again at the same place or a different place. And now you have content that continues to grow and it's evergreen. If you guys aren't familiar with that word, you should know the word evergreen. So evergreen just means that content continues to exist. Examples of evergreen content is if you created content around your niche and you were specific about something around your niche that isn't time specific. So there's evergreen just simply means that no matter how much time goes by, you can continue to do, and those videos continue to exist and continue to stand in the same way. All you would need to do is if you would just change the date. So sometimes people, what you'll see as far as for evergreen content, you have people say the best way to such and such and such something, and then they'll have the current year, and then whenever the year changes, they go back to the video, edit the video, and it just changed the year. Again, that's another hack. And so with all those things, it's evergreen content because the content is true, because the content is true, because the content is true, and you're just repurposing the content for different purposes. So boom. And then you also want to make sure that you're understanding, like, because once we do get into ads, you want to know what particular, like, kind of like on the Google side of things, on the YouTube side of things, like what keywords you're going to want to target. Okay. You're going to know what keywords you're going to want to target. Okay, so now I've given you guys a full picture of what your homework is for this week. And again, I'm going to post this video as soon as this video downloads and inside of the school platform, so you can have it to go back and reference. And then YouTube has this thing now where they automatically create the chapters in there, so you can kind of go to whatever point you need to go to. So with that, you guys have your homework assignment for this week. So I want to explain the homework assignment for this week. Your homework assignment is to find out where your fish are. Using all of the different categories that I gave you guys today, find out where your fish are and get specific about where you're going to go to grab these fish. Get specific about where you are going to go to grab these fish. Remember, I told you guys in the beginning, it's this hard work. That's not hard. It's just tedious, if you will. Like, it's kind of like, it reminds me of doing homework. Because it's the same sort of a way and the same sort of a thing with the financial markets. When I teach that, it's doing homework. Like, it's not that the thing is hard. It's just you got to do your homework. So you're prepared for the pop quiz. You're prepared for the test because you did your homework. But if you don't do your homework, things later on that I start talking about, you're going to be like, man, that seemed hard, man. How am I supposed to do that? How am I supposed to find this many people? How am I supposed to? But it's because we did the hard stuff, the busy stuff earlier, and now everything else is downhill. So right now we're working our way uphill. we're doing uphill work. This is the work where anybody can do it. It's up here, right in between our ears. Everything that we're doing right now, talking about right now, anybody in the world can do it. Do you want it though? That's my question is, do you want it? Because if you want it, you're going to work. We're going to put that work in. We're going to make it uphill. If you want it, we're going to make it uphill. If you don't, we won't. So all of this right now is uphill work. But when I tell you, I can promise you and guarantee you with absolute surety and clarity, once we start going downhill, we are going fast. And you're like, Matt, like, well, Matt, you won't believe, Matt, you won't believe, Matt, you won't believe, Matt, you won't believe, Matt, you won't believe. I'm like, yeah, I appreciate you sharing this with me, but I do believe because I know this is the hard, ugly stuff that people don't want to do. It's kind of like with locks when people say, I want to lock my hair up, but I don't want to go through the ugly phase. It's like, well, and the ugly phase is when it's real short and it's just kind of like sticking up. I actually love that phase. But it's like you got to go through that phase in order to get to the downhill. Because in order to go downhill, and this is the good type of downhill, so it's not bad downhill. This is the going fast downhill. In order to go downhill, you have to be on top of the hill. Now, people that have money, they can buy their private jets, their little helicopters, and they can have somebody kind of like drop them down at the top of the hill, and they ain't have to do none of the work to get on the top of the hill because they paid. So in the same way you have like rappers and entertainers pay to play, you could pay to play too for this in this as well. But if you don't have that type of capital to pay to play, then you got to do the work now to figure all this stuff out. And once you figure this stuff out and you're willing to do all that hard work, then that's when we'll be headed downhill as far as we're able to pick up speed because we have traction because we did the hard work. And so we can always have other places that we're going and getting and grabbing people from because of the fact that we did the work. And so we know how to do it. We know what works. So now 3 months have gone by and now I could actually repurpose the same content and some of the same venues because of the fact that, hey, there's a new group of people now, depending on what venues you select and depending on what niche you're actually in. So that's our class for today. I was back in season 4, and I want you guys to know, again, I will beat this horse to my back go down to the ground because the horse don't exist no more. Christians are the easiest group to sell to because all you have to do is throw a Bible verse on something, throw Christ's name on something, say Jesus, and people will be willing to buy off of that premise alone. You don't have to honor your word. You don't have to do what you said you're going to do. And scripture calls us sheep. I would rather be like my Savior in the sense that I want to protect sheep. I don't want to exploit sheep. Because the Bible that I read says that for those who do that, it'd be better for them to be hung and dropped down to the middle of the ocean with a yoke on their neck for deceiving one of his little ones. We are all little ones to him. Everybody that exists is a little one to him. And I don't ever want to get caught up in anything that attaches Christ's name to it. And I'm saying that I'm doing it to make money off of the people that I'm attaching Christ's name to. Now, mind you, every single business venture that I do, I'm a Christian. What I'm not going to do on my marketing, though, is say, hey, Christian, hey, Bible believer. Like, I'm not going to do that in marketing. I believe that that is wrong. I have scripture that backs me up in saying that that is wrong and why that is wrong and how we are not supposed to be profiting off of the gospel in any way, shape, or form. That goes for anything that we create as it pertains to intellectual property that we want to call ours. Because again, if God really gave it to you, it ain't your intellectual property. So whether that be books, whether that be conferences, whether that be revivals, whether that be the artists, whether that be entertainment, no matter what category we want to place it in, we should not be profiting off of the gospel. Now, we can do our events, we can do our conference, we can do all those things. But again, we should be doing those things from a place of giving back to God's people, because God has given us whatever ability we have, whatever talent we have, whatever spiritual gifting we have, every single thing that we are and that we got, it was a gift to us. Even for the people that are on this call, even for everybody that's on this call, you have a desire to be an entrepreneur, or you are already an entrepreneur already. That ain't come from you. The Lord gave you your struggle. Yeah, you had to struggle. Yeah, you had to fight. Yeah, you had to get it out the mud or whatever the case may be. The Lord gave you your story. He gave you that. He gave you your background. The Lord blesses us with these things to help us to grow and mature and to become who it is that He's called for us to be. Now, either we can climb those hills by His grace, by His enablement, by His Spirit's empowering, or we won't. I'm not the dictator of that. I'm just the person here that's freely given because of the fact that the Lord gave this to me. He put it on my heart. He put this burden on my heart. This is a very particular burden, and He put it on my heart because of what I've seen, what I've experienced, what I know about what the church as a whole does in the West. Other churches outside of the West look at the Western church in disgust because the Western church is all about money. And that ain't what Christ died for. Now, does that mean we need to be poor or broke? No. That's not what I'm saying. That's why when I say about your business, go get your money about your business. But don't exploit Christians to get money. That's the only point that I'm seeking to make. I will never co-sign for exploiting Christians to make money. Ever. Boom. Unbelievable. Yeah, it's definitely some unbelievable things that are happening out here. Unpopular. No, this is definitely a message that people do. Cooking with grease. Like my mama say, she say cooking with Crisco. So with that, like I do want to always be sure that we're absolutely clear about what it is that we're doing here, what it is that we're establishing here. We are establishing businesses that do not rely on, if you will, Christianity from a marketing perspective. Not that we're ever getting away from a Christian ethic, not that we're ever getting away from our own Christianity, not that we're ever going to do anything that's unethical, anything that's unchristian, nothing like that. But we are not going to ever exploit Christians to make a monetary gain. We will never do that. I will never teach that. If you want to do that, you have to go somewhere else in order to learn that, because I will never teach that here. I will never co-sign for that behavior because I know better. Now, there are certain people who don't know better because they haven't read the Bible before. And that's not any shade to anybody. But most Christians, like 80% of Christians, haven't read the entire Bible. So you don't know what you don't know. Now, you're still responsible for things that you don't know, because you can't just say, oh, I was ignorant to it, Lord. Like, I didn't know because I never read. It's like, but once you read, you know how particular he is about his kids, about his sheep, and how he cares so much. And so I don't want to care less when he cares so much. So I'm always approach Christians with caution when it comes to anything monetarily. I'm always going to approach that with caution because of the fact that I think that there should be way more given to Christians than ever is taken from a Christian. And that I get from the Bible and how Christ called his apostles, his sent ones, the ones he said that he laid his hands on. He sent them out. He ain't sending no more out. Ain't no more apostles. He ain't putting his hands on nobody else and sending nobody else out. So how are the people nowadays getting breaded up, private jets, mansions, living off of Christians' backs, and the Christians that they live in, whose backs they're living off of, are poor, under low class, or maybe considered to be low class because of financially, or under middle class, so lower middle class, and they living high on the hog. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's not good. It's not biblical. It's not right. And we shouldn't be partaking in things like that. And so here, you'll never get anything like that from me. I'm always going to be pointing you guys in the directions of creating a solid business and staying and remaining a solid Christian while you run your solid business, and allowing your Christianity to govern how you do business. and helping you to get a bag that's lofty and heavy enough so that you can give back to Christians to help them. Because yeah, as long as everybody has the mentality of kind of helping the next person up, we'll continue to do better, and we'll continue to make a dent. Again, the world isn't getting better because we know how Revelation ends, and so with that, like I definitely want you guys to take seriously again this hard work that we're putting in. I don't want you to trust your own strength, your own efforts. I want you guys to be relying upon the Spirit of God to get this work done, because He's the one that's going to cause for us to be able to get this work done. But with His grace and with His enablement, we can definitely get this work done. So I wanted to see if there are any